What's going on, guys? It's Wafers, and welcome back to the Newport County Road to Glory Career Mode. It's episode 39, and today we are going to be ending off the transfer window and getting into some games in September. So only after one game, we have 1 point. We were able to draw with Man City, a pretty good result, I would say, to open up the season against one of the favorites for the title. But we have a bunch of games to go, and we'll get through a couple in this episode. Right off the bat, we get an offer here for Nathan Broadhead as well as Townsend. And I decide to accept both of these offers. We have some other backups that we could use instead of Broadhead. And then for Townsend, we did sign a new goalkeeper, which means that we no longer need him. And goalkeepers rarely get injured. I've really never seen a goalkeeper get injured, so I don't think we really need a backup one, and I have an extra one on the roster if we do. But for the first game of this episode, we are taking on Tottenham Hotspur, and this is another tough test early in the season. Spurs would come forward pretty early on with some nice play, and Ikone is able to finish that one right there to give them an early 1-0 lead in this one. But we would try to respond looking for a goal. We come on a counterattack, and Williams goes down this right hand side. He's going to feed Hopkins, who is able to get ahead of the defenders and hit this one across goal into the back of the net, and that is our first goal in the Premier League. Unfortunately, we weren't able to score in our first match, but we were able to score in our second match, and this is the first goal in our Premier League campaign. A pretty nice goal here from Matthew Hopkins, and hopefully there will be plenty more to see with him. A little bit later, still in the first half, and they get a penalty here. Alex Wynn sort of just barges into Brozovic, and he goes down. Can't really blame him there. It's not really a egregious penalty, but you can see Wynn sort of stops him from going forward, and the player is always going to go down in that situation to draw the penalty once they feel the contact. So it's Harry Kane stepping up against Jordan Shepherd for the penalty, and he is going to go middle. Shepherd goes left, and he scores to put Tottenham up 2-1, and that is all this game had. We go down to Spurs 2-1 and lose that game. After that game, we find out that Townsend and Broadhead have both been sold, which is good to see. It gives us a little bit of extra money and it frees up some spots in the squad. We also get a offer for Alex Wynn, and I am going to reject this offer. He's one of our starting center backs, and he's going to stay one of our starting center backs. Our next game is going to be against Brentford, another newly promoted side. They achieved automatic promotion last season, and we came out of this game looking to get our first win against another newly promoted team here. A couple minutes before the end of the first half, Rollins down this left-hand side crosses it in, and Telford has a really nice volley there. The defender sort of missed the ball, and Telford was able to volley that one home to give us a 1-0 lead just a couple minutes before halftime. Coming out of halftime, still in the first half here, we're in added time, and we go down this left-hand side again. Rollins doing some skill moves, trying to find some space. He gets it to Telford, who finds Bennett, turns the defender, and finishes to make it 2-0 at the end of the first half. We played into quite a bit of added time there, but we were able to get another goal out of it, which is good. Into the second half now, and 15 minutes before the end of the game, we come forward here. Ravi Matando off the bench is one-on-one with the keeper, and he's going to finish this one into the back of the net for his first goal as a member of Newport County. And he's been a really great super sub to have. I think he'll be really great going forward just because he has so much acceleration and sprint speed that when I bring him on late in a game or in the second half, he can just run past these tired defenders and get in on goal, which is really good. I think it will be really useful throughout this season. We would add another goal here at the end of the game. Rollins again down that left-hand side, feeds Jenkins this time, and he would slot that one in. We beat the newly promoted Brentford 4-0 and pick up our first win on the season, which is always nice. Our first win comes after 3 games, which isn't bad at all. We reject an offer there for Lee Jenkins, and then I'm showing you the schedule again because we have a new tie, a cup tie against QPR that we will be playing. So the last game of this episode will be the Arsenal game, not the Everton game. We also get an offer for Henry Akujobi, but he's my primary backup center back, so we're going to keep him. And then we go into this game against QPR. This is in the Carabao Cup, and we are playing a fully rotated side in this one. We would have to wait until the second half to come forward, and Aziz here is going to feed it out to Pendry, who got the start in this game. He's going to go out to Shepherd, and we're just going to work it back across the box, looking for an opening here, just passing it across the box, and eventually it ends up with Rabi Matondo, and he fires this one near post for a really nice goal. Just beat the keeper with a very powerful shot to put us up 1-0, and that is how this game would end. We move on in the Carabao Cup, and the backup side comes through with a victory. Right here, you'll see that with the international break coming up, we actually have a lot of players getting called up to national teams. Peter Conlon is on the Ireland team, and then Nico Williams and a bunch of our youth players are on the Welsh team. So just some squad progress there, showing you guys that we are starting to get to the point where a lot of our players are starting to get national team call-ups, which is really cool to see. In this game against Newcastle, there weren't many chances. This was the best chance of the game. Haidara has the free kick, and Shepherd comes up with a brilliant save there. We would clear that one out, but we were unable to find our chance for ourselves, and we end up with a 0-0 draw. Into transfer deadline day, and we get an offer for Nathan Taylor. He's our 3rd or 4th choice right back, and I am going to accept this offer to send him out and get some extra cash into the bank. And you can see here that he has been sold, so he is off to his new team. We also get an offer here for Tom Pendry from the Columbus Crew, and it's an offer of £1.35 million, a pretty decent offer for him, and he is pretty good, 67 overall and 18 years old, but he's not going to get into the squad. So after a bit of consideration, I do decide to accept this offer, and there you can see that he has been sold. We also get an offer for Conlon here, but we're not selling Conlon at all. He is staying in the team. An offer from Sassuolo there, and we will reject that. With only an hour left, we get another offer here for another one of our starting players, Coughlin. We're going to reject this one as well. A £6.3 million offer, pretty good offer, but we will reject that. And then I'm just showing you all the moves here from all the clubs. A lot of business went down in the Premier League this transfer window. A lot of teams making moves, including Brentford and Brighton, the 2 newly promoted sides that came up with us. Teams like Chelsea spent tons and tons of money here, bringing in a bunch of players, and I think that we should be able to stay up this season. It's going to be tough, but I do think we will be able to stay up here. We made some signings, and I think we're looking pretty good. Obviously, we're not going to be competing for a big spot, like a European spot, or probably even like top half of the table, but surviving would just be good in our first season. So taking a look at our business, we spent £19.8 million and we made £10 million. So a net spend of about £9 million. And I think we brought in a lot of quality for that much money. We were able to bring in some really good players that I think will help us out going forward this season. The biggest transfers from this window were Goretzka going to Inter, Sula going to Bayern, back to Bayern, and Kempembe going from Man U to Tottenham. And those were the three biggest transfers from this window. And then right after the transfer window, we end up getting an offer, and it's our biggest offer ever. Wolfsburg offer £32.7 million for Marsh. We're going to reject that, but that is our biggest offer by far for any of our players. A £30 million offer for Marsh, but we will reject that, as I said. Our youth academy, we only have 4 players in it. Morgan has been with us for a long time. He still looks pretty good. I'm just going to leave him in there for as long as possible, I think. And then we have Griffith, Robertson, and Don, although they're not looking too good at all. We'll just keep them there for the time being. After that, I decided to use some of the remaining money that we had in order to use Bryn Bowen and send him back out to Wales. This way, we can continue to get in some prospects, but I didn't want to flood the academy, so I only did him since he's our 5-star scout. We also get an offer for Ryan Morris. We're going to accept that offer, and hopefully he will head out. Into our last game for this episode, and we are going to the Emirates to face Arsenal. Another game against a top 6 club, and they were coming forward early, looking for a goal. Lozek comes forward, he battles off Win, and he's able to finish that one to give them a 1-0 lead after like 10 minutes into the game. They would come forward again, Martinelli down this left-hand side, and he volleys this one home. A really nice finish, 2 really nice finishes. He doubles their lead, gives them a 2-0 lead within 15 minutes. And then into the second half, about 15 minutes after the restart, we would come forward. Marsh feeding Rollins here. He is going to hit this one to the far post and pick up the ball as we try to get back into this game. We get a goal back here to cut it to 2-1. Arsenal weren't done though. They were trying to put this game to bed, restore their 2-goal advantage, and they picked out a really nice pass here to Moreno, and Gerard Moreno finishes that to give them a 3-1 lead, and they would hold on to that 3-1 lead, and they would win that game. So after 5 games, we have 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Although we've played some really, really good teams, I feel like we sort of just got thrown into the fire of the Premier League. We faced Man City, we also faced Tottenham, and we faced Arsenal within the first 5 games. So 3 Big 6 clubs right away. I think that's, pretty difficult, and hopefully after this tough start, we should be able to pick up a few more wins here and there against mid-table and lower table teams. I don't think we'll be able to really deal with these top 6 teams now. We might be able to pull off a win here or there, a surprise win, or a draw like we did against Man City, but winning those games is going to be very tough. And I'm just hoping that, as we sort of work our way into the season, we can get some better results against some lower teams. But that is going to be it for this episode of the Newport County Road to Glory Career Mode. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like on the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys soon for a new episode.